Having a world record in any game for speedrunning is pretty cool, but having a world record in the world's best-selling game, Minecraft, that's a whole nother story. Today I'm going to be talking about how a game that originally had no conclusion turned out to be a video game that certain players would dominate for years to come. Since the original speedruns of Minecraft was people just trying to get to bedrock as fast as possible, I'll be skipping this era as it does not have anything to do with today's current speedrun. Most of 2013 to 2014 was full of runs around the 1 hour margin until September 29th, 2014. Runner Invisigoth604 would set his first sub 1 hour run and the first sub 1 hour run in the whole community, a run coming in at 45 minutes and 28 seconds. The run was clearly not optimized very well, from sloppy movement to not having the base of his strategy down very well. The run was a mess, but surely a start. His end fight was a big time loss. Because there was no easy way of killing the end dragon at this time, his end fight was 13 minutes long. See, the end fight is all about the RNG at this time. See, the objective was to gather arrows and a bow from killing skeletons and shooting down the pillars' end crystals. The problem was that there was a random amount of pillars varying from only a few to more than 20 pillars. But to even get to these pillars was a struggle for most runners at this time, as you would have to prepare quite intensively prior to getting to the end. This is what you had to do. In a Minecraft speedrun, there are two main items needed to craft the main item in Minecraft. Blaze rods, which is later turned into blaze powder, and ender pearls. The blaze powder is made by just putting blaze rods into a crafting slot. And when the blaze powder is combined with ender pearls, you get eyes of ender. You need 12 eyes of ender to activate the portal normally, but there is a chance that you can get eyes already in the portal. This varies from 0 eyes to all 12, each being a 10% chance, so the likeliness of you finding 12 eyes in a portal is unheard of. The next record will be set by the runner, Like a Noob 100, with a time of 37 minutes and 40 seconds. He had some better luck and movement, but everything else seemed to stay static in the run. After this, a player named illuminahd would come to take the throne, with a run that would have an astounding time, 27 minutes and 36 seconds. This wouldn't be the last time Illumina was heard of though. But then a stroke of hope hit the community. January 22nd, 2015. Taruki-chen, a Japanese speedrunner, found that there was a better seed. It completely removed the need to hunt for endermen, because the stronghold had 4 eyes within it, and 8 eyes within the portal. That's a 1 in 1 million chance. Therefore, all you needed to do was go to the nether, find the fortress, get the rods, come back to the overworld, then go to the end collecting leaves along the way for blocks. The run would last until March the 8th, when Illumina would set the record straight again. With a run of 13 minutes and 30 seconds, it was all down to his faster crafting and better end fight. Just a few weeks prior to this run though, 2 new players entered the scene with some knowledge about the other categories within the Minecraft speedrunning community. Thunderful was the first of these two to set a record, with only around 100 attempts. His run was 13 minutes and 18 seconds, but then Taruki-chen would get a run of 13 minutes and 17 seconds. But there is no recording of the run, but due to his reputation, the community believed him. But then after all this, on the same day, Illumina would go out of his way to crush the record, 3 times, with a 12:28, then at 11:26, and then a 10:44. Then Thunderful would go out of his way to do this. The first sub 10. It was unbelievable, and it was quite a strong world record. But what many didn't know is that Sizzler was still training. And just like that, a seemingly unbreakable world record had been shattered within moments of training. See, the movement for this seed was so optimized that only 10 seconds was shaved off from Sizzler. Don't get me wrong, it's still impressive, but they needed more. But someone was willing to provide more. Player Azalef found out a way to find seeds way more frequently. But not find seeds at the same time, generate seeds. Let me explain this. The whole entire seed is responsible for biome generation, but only part of the seed is responsible for structures like the nether, villages, cave layouts, and the end island. Due to limitations of the game's randomizer that the game uses to generate seeds, adding 2 to the power of 48 to the seed will keep all the structures but affect the overworld. With this, seed finding was now way easier to do and way more accessible. These are referred to as sister seeds. See, because of the run was very lengthy due to you having to kill chickens for feathers and mine gravel for flint to get arrows to destroy the end crystals. Now you spawned in a taiga biome, therefore having access to get snow. With the snowballs you could obtain, you could destroy the end crystals with way less preparation. Now, after this amazing seed discovery, Sizzler got a 917. It was the same as any run, besides he used snowballs this time, and gathered leaves on the way to the stronghold for easier blocks. This run would later be improved, much further though. It was also around this time that they started using game time to time the runs, presenting an unfair advantage to people with better PCs who get better loading times, and people with worse PCs who get slower loading times. This run was once again just Sizzler just showing how dominant he was for his time. Here is some foreshadowing and some words from Sizzler that will come in apparent later.
I apparently can still save on that dragon fight, so sub 9 will happen soon on the seed, but that's new world record, guys! Good job.
And boy oh boy, was Sizzler right.
Yeah, so there's still obviously this run will probably get sub 8 one day, maybe.
But then after all of this run happened.
Well, this is gonna be really hard to improve on, I should think.
And he was correct.
So we count 1, 2, 3 snowballs. That's what it took to kill him when you couldn't even see his health bar anymore.
When he said he didn't think it could be improved, he was correct. This run stood for 2 years. Just shocking. A whole 2 years this record would last. It seemed as if he didn't have to touch the category ever again. Runs were radio silent, no new PBs, no new world records. But the community wasn't radio silent. They were actually quite the opposite. See, in this time, Minecraft 1.9 had come out, completely changing the combat system. Now you couldn't spam click to kill enemies, you had to time your hits. This slowed down PvP and PvE. As well as this, the end dragon and the end had been revamped. Less pillars would spawn, but some would be covered in iron bars, although it was quickly discovered that you could just shoot under the iron bars with the snowballs. Also, remember I said that you could get a portal with 12 eyes? Before version 1.9, even if it had 12 eyes in the portal, it would not be activated. 1.9 fixed this, however, so the search for seeds was a go. So this begged the question, would it be faster? Well, yes, but no. People didn't like the idea of having to look for a seed with a full portal, because it would take up a lot of time, so they went back to versions like 1.7, 1.6 and 1.8. But because looking for seeds on 3 different versions was so annoying, people stopped looking for 1.7 and 1.6 seeds and made the transition back to 1.8. After this, Sizzler got another world record, 7 minutes and 27 seconds. Only a 10-second time save, but you gotta think, that's quite a lot when it's all down to better blaze luck and a better end fight. Then after this, a 7-11. Now the category really felt like it was only RNG. However, some people came to the rescue. A runner called Maaaccc had one of the any % SSG world records in 1.6. This was around 2016 to 2017, a little bit before Sizzler would improve his time by so much. But when Sizzler got the world record again, it was a big motivation killer for him. As well as this, people wanted to see 1.8 instead of 1.6 runs, and 1.7 would take all the current trade routes out of the question. So Maaaccc and runner geosquare started looking for the best seed, and it paid off. After looking through 18 trillion seeds, a godly seed was found. The first run that was done with this new seed was by hawaiivalle. There is no available footage now, but it was official, so we can confirm that it was truthful. A few hours later, and Stiffman would beat this record by 5 seconds with a 7:01. But the next day, the first sub 7 happened. It was by illuminahd. A 6:47 would be the new record. The first major time save we know is that you spawn closer to a tree off the start, and right into a taiga biome. After getting 3 pieces of wood, you dig down and collect resources such as stone, gravel, and flint, whilst the iron you mined is smelting. Once you exit the hole you were in, you would shear sheep on the way and then enter the nether. The blaze spawner was right there next to the portal, reducing the RNG of the run. And as soon as you exited the portal, the stronghold was right next to you, and you only needed 1 eye. Remember when I said you could have 12 eyes in the portal and it still be activated if you was playing in 1.9 and above? See, well, the community kind of agreed in staying on 1.8, so the changes wouldn't have an effect. After this, hawaiivalle would get a 609, but again, it was official, but no recording can be found today. This record would stand for 3 days when Maaaccc would beat this run with the first sub 6, a 557. There was still improvement to be made. A few days later, hawaiivalle would get a 550. This run would stand for about 3 months, until runner Mathox got a 529 on July the 20th, 2019. To say this run was insane would be an understatement. His precise movement and fast crafting, as well as a good end fight, won him this. The dragon perched in such a short period of time between each other that it was just unbelievable. After this run, Matthew was thinking about doing a reroute on the seed because of how far you had to go to get the second herd of sheep. After this, Matthew found a closer iron vein and another herd of sheep closer. With these changes, the runs would surely get to sub 5. The first run to use this was a 513 by Sizzler. It was pretty good, but still not too optimized. The main time difference was in the overworld though. But after a few weeks of grinding, illuminahd did this.
Let's go. Sub 5 in game time. Sub 5 in. 5 on the dot for freaking real time.
After this, a runner called Crafterdark set out to find a good peaceful SSG seed, but ended up finding a good pre-1.9 SSG seed. See, the new seed wouldn't let you use beds to kill the ender dragon anymore because it was too slow, so you had to use end crystals on the pillars to kill the dragon. And as most runners do, when a new seed is dropped, a new record is dropped with it. This time being Sizzler with a 448, and once again, the man who most thought was unstoppable beat his own record again, that being Sizzler with a 439. But this run would stay the same for a long time. I mean 8 months. But once again, a new seed had been found. Runner Rayoh got a 4-minute run using a new strategy. This time you would run from a plains biome, gather 2 logs and run to a sand temple. After this, you would craft paper and golden tools, as well as get a bucket. Run to this village house, get all of the books, and then go to another village house and collect all of these books. After this, you find this villager and trade him for 1 eye of ender, gather some more wood for blocks, then get the water bucket, mine down to the stronghold, and go into the portal at around 2 minutes. You would pearl to the island, and do the same with the crystals as usual. Bridge over to the portal and hop right in. After this, another runner from Austria called Aussie Mothner GHG would try to compete with this run, but he was 13 seconds behind. But then, just 2 weeks later, something incredible would happen. And that is where the record stands today.